Praise be Jesus Christ and Mary Immaculate. Welcome to this 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time. We're going to read from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verses 2 to 16. Chapter 10 of the Gospel of Mark begins with Jesus doing the usual, teaching. He's a teacher. And as usual, he teaches the large crowds that gather around him to hear his voice. But then some Pharisees, known for their strict observance of the law, approach Jesus with a challenge. And they ask him, now pay attention here, they ask him not to learn something. They ask him to put him to the test. So there's a falsity, there's this double-sided falsity in their questions. They ask him, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? They aren't seeking knowledge. They're not even looking for the truth or for an honest answer. They're trying to trap him. In fact, the evangelist uses the same word for their actions that is used when referring to the action of the devil, of Satan, tempting Jesus in the desert. So while the Pharisees may seem religious and pious, Jesus and the evangelist see them as instruments of Satan, not instruments of God, because their aim is not to promote love or service, but to exert power and control over people. In those days, divorce was relatively easy for men. Jewish law, based on the sacred text of the Talmud, allowed a man to divorce his wife for practically any reason. It could be something as serious as infidelity or as burning his dinner. A woman, however, could not divorce her husband for any reason. So there's an unequal balance of power here. Knowing this, the Pharisees still ask Jesus about divorce, and they ask him not to learn, but to force him to choose between upholding the strict observance of the law or going against it. Either way, they had something to accuse him of. They wanted a soundbite. Jesus responds by asking them, what did Moses command you? Pay attention to that. It's not that Jesus doesn't say, what did Moses command us? What did Moses command you? Jesus separates himself from the law of Moses, and he separates himself from this issue. He has no dog in this fight, so to say. And so he asks, what did Moses command you? The Pharisees answered that Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and to send his wife away. But Jesus doesn't accept this law as it is. He challenges them, pointing out that Moses allowed divorce only because of the hardness of their heart. It was because of human condition. In other words, the law was given as a concession to human weakness and to their stubbornness. For Jesus, God's plan for creation is much deeper than legal loopholes. He explains that in the beginning, God made them male and female, and that the two are meant to become one flesh. And this unity in God's design is for marriage. And what God has joined together, let no one separate. In Jesus' time, marriage was not about love, as we often think about it today. Marriages were arranged by parents and family members, often based on social and economic considerations, not on the free choice of individuals as we know it today. Marriage as we know it today is probably around 200 years old. There's not a whole lot of traditional marriages in our history as we think. But Jesus goes back to the heart of God's plan for creation, emphasizing that marriage is a sacred bond meant to reflect God's love, where two people complement each other and become one, not just that they're convenient for one another. Jesus' teaching was radical, not just for the Pharisees, but even for his disciples. They couldn't believe what he was saying, so later when they were alone with him, they asked him again about his teaching on divorce. Jesus makes it clear, if a man divorces his wife and marries another, he commits adultery. And if a woman divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery. In this, Jesus emphasizes that marriage is not just a contract that can be broken at will. It is a sacred covenant that reflects God's love and faithfulness. And by bringing men and women to an equal level in marriage, Jesus challenges the cultural norms of his time. He does not tolerate relationships where one party holds power over the other. Instead, he stands with the vulnerable and with the victimized, showing that in God's kingdom, all are equal and worthy of dignity and respect. This gospel passage invites us to reflect on the sacredness of all relationships and how we are called to live them out in mutual love, respect, and fidelity. It challenges us to see beyond legalism and recognizing God's deeper plan for humanity, a plan rooted in love, unity, and dignity for every person. In our world today, where relationships are often strained by power struggles and selfishness, Jesus' words reminds us that true love is not about control or about power, but it's about service and sacrifice. Whether in marriage or in any relationship, we are called to reflect God's generous love, where we seek to unite rather than divide, to heal rather than to hurt, and to build up rather than tear down. God bless you.